Hey folks, now that we've drawn a scatter plot together, let's talk about scatter plots in general. So we're usually wondering if a line describes the scatter plot well. So if we're looking for a line relationship, a linear relationship, we're talking about linear correlation coefficient R. And R, the values go between -1 and 1. So take a look at this scatter plot right here. You see how a line would describe this data perfectly. Every dot goes through the line perfectly. And so this would have perfect correlation of r equal 1. Positive 1, because you remember from Algebra 1, the slope is positive. Okay, so this picture right here, it's perfect. The line goes through every dot perfectly, but it has a slope negative, so the correlation r would be -1. Okay, it's making sense. Let's look at this picture right here. It's not exactly a perfect line that describes every piece of data, but generally speaking, it looks like a linear relationship. Most of the dots are pretty close to the line, so it's probably close to 1. I'm just making this up. It's probably something like 0.96 or something, probably something pretty close to 1. And how about this picture right here? This is probably pretty close to what, folks? R is probably about negative. Good. 0.96. Dots look a little bit further. I don't know, maybe 0.91, negative 0.88. As long as you said negative and something close to 1, that's good. But now, you see how this picture, it kind of looks like there's a negative correlation going on. The dots are a little bit further from the line. So I would say, if I was gambling, R is probably close to, definitely negative, and a little less than that, like maybe negative 0.84 or something. Just less than that value, but definitely negative. Okay. Now this is just a blob. There really, like, does this line describe it? Does that line, that line, that line? There really is no good line. So the formula for R, as you see in 4.1, is just a weird, crazy formula. So to get exactly 0 would be kind of weird. So it's probably really close to 0, like negative 0.02 or positive 0.03. But the correlation should be really close to 0. Now here we have a nice horseshoe pattern. So there's definitely a pattern, but remember, R is looking for lines, linear relationships. So does this line describe it? Does that line? Does this line? Does that line? Does that line? So once again, yes, there is a pattern, but it's not a line. So the correlation R, linear correlation R, is probably pretty close to 0. Exactly 0 would be weird. Probably some really, really tiny number, positive or negative, but really tiny, like 0.002 or something. Okay, so that was just a little look at scatter plots and correlation R.